Testing, testing, testing. All right, we are live. Hopefully, oh, let me switch to the correct. There we go. Cool. So today I'm going to start off with a cube. This is a very early stream for me. I'm streaming about 2 hours earlier than I normally do, but this is due to a medical appointment that I have at 7:30 that I could not move or schedule at any other time. So, we're going to start off with a little bit of modern cube. And I'm just going to see how much streaming I can get done before I have to leave. My appointment, for those of you not in my time zone, is from 3.5 hours from now. So I guess we'll see what happens. If stuff runs, if I have like a league that runs really, really long, I might have to cut it in half or finish it and tack it onto the VOD later when it goes up on YouTube. Stream VODs go up the Friday after they're recorded. After the Wednesday they are streamed. The Friday after, they go up at 1 p.m. on my YouTube channel. So for anybody that misses anything or wants to see old stream archives that Twitch no longer has, you can check out my YouTube, same username there as you find me here, or vice versa. And today is a 3 coffee kind of day. Oh, I should probably let the Discord know that I'm... Whoop. Alright, not sure why I'm not getting any game audio right now, but we have a lot of Planeswalkers in this pack, again. Good mono red 1-drop. I kind of want to try and take the Llanowar Elves and see if green's open, but that's what literally everyone does in this cube. I still think it's probably correct. I've done a lot of mono red. So I'm going to see if I can try and do the mono green, and we're going to find out in the next like 2 picks if it's going to be possible. Alright, that's an early Vivian. Mono red would have been way open. Soulscar Mage and Forked Bolt both go very well in the mono red deck. There's a City of Brass, a Courser of Krufix. Vivian is actually really powerful in the green deck. I almost like Courser just a little bit more. Wiltleaf Liege is kind of okay in like the green-white beatdown / tokens kind of deck. I think I'm going to take Courser. Dryad seems kind of fun. Yeah, mono red would have been an excellent choice because there's a Hazaret and a Searing Blaze. We could do green-black and do like the attrition if we take Ravenous Chupacabra, but Dryad I think is going to be better on average. It's fixing, it's extra land drops, it's just great all around I think. Let's see, Jol Rail, Moanvuli, Recluse, let's see. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, make a cat. 6 mana until end of turn. All of your creatures have base power and toughness where X is the number of cards in your hand. Not bad. I think the Genesis Hydra is probably slightly better on average. Especially if we're doing rampy things. Now there's a really, really good chance that we get cut super hard out of green. So if in like the next 2 picks or 3 picks, there are just no green cards in the pack, we have to completely abandon this strategy and pick whatever we think is open. Simply because everybody in Modern likes to force green really hard. Because it is a powerful strategy. It's more powerful in the Modern cube than it is in the Eternal format cubes, I think, in the most part. It kind of does the same thing in all of the cubes. It's just like less effective. Like from Vintage to Legacy, it's less powerful, and from Legacy to Modern, the ramp is less powerful, obviously. I'm going to take Rattleclaw Mystic because it's kind of a mana dork. There's not that many green cards left in the packs. Like there, it was a dork though. It wasn't a 1 mana dork, but it was a 2 mana dork, and that tells me that odds are there is a either people are trying to force green by picking the bombs first, or there wasn't that many green cards in that pack to start with. Because generally, if you're playing green, you want to pick as many of the enablers as you can. Gilded Goose this late tells me that green's actually probably open this draft. I am going to take the 1-mana Mana Dork in the form of Gilded Goose. I'm just checking this pack to see what else there is. Luca Coppercoat Outcast could actually be good if we got some of the really big Eldrazi and stuff like that. We could do green-red as a way to like fish out our top end, but we're obviously taking Goose here. Garruk Relentless is not bad, neither is Kitchen Finks, and Raging Ravine is decent fixing, and one of the colors green pairs best with in Modern Cube. I think I like Garruk Relentless a little bit better. Repeatable creature value, a way to take out a small creature, and then him flipping into a survival of the fittest is pretty great. So I'm going to take Garruk. It's not like the original Garruk Wildspeaker Ramp Garruk, though. I mean, like that. I think that card is probably better in the modern Cube mono green deck than Garruk Relentless is, but Garruk Relentless is still a good card nonetheless. Whisperwood Elemental is technically a top end for the green deck. There's a Hangerback Walker as well. Hangerback Walker could be good. I think Whisperwood Elemental might actually be better, because in Modern Cube you have to worry about Wraths a lot harder, and Whisperwood Elemental gives you a little bit of Wrath protection. I guess Hangerback Walker does at the same time, but Whisperwood Elemental also helps take over the game. So I'm going to take that. I've got a feeling that Tarmogoyf actually isn't going to be that good. Because it's not like we're dumping a bunch of different creature or card types into the grave. Zergo and Exquisite Firecraft coming all the way around tells me that nobody is in red. I am going to take Kessig Wolf Run. It's a late game way to dump all of our mana and make even Llanowar Elves kind of a big threat. Soulscar Mage and Forked Bolt. Hey Judd, how's it going? Glad you could make it. I don't think I want Wiltleaf Liege unless my opponent has Liliana. I think at this point I'm going to start taking some red cards, and just to have like some removal or waste to interact. I'm going to take Forked Bolt. Sun Titan is fair and could work, but I think probably we're going to be green-red. If we get enough mana, Genesis Wave is actually really, really good, but only if you get an absurd amount. Double red's kind of hard, though, so I'm going to take Genesis Wave. Okay, Mizium Mortars is some decent removal, so we'll take that. I don't know how much red we're going to be playing, but considering green was open literally the first, I don't know how many picks is that, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 picks of the draft. Big green mana and big things, always a good time. You know it. Let's see. Yeah, we're kind of hoping for more Mana Dorks. The fact that we got 3 pretty decent ones, as well as Dryad and Courser, is pretty fantastic, even though I just threw Courser in the side. I think I want Outpost Siege more than Grim Lavamancer. It's not like Lavamancer is bad by any stretch, but Kytheon, yeah, Kytheon in the side, and Purphoros in the side. Purphoros is not really good for what we're doing necessarily. Okay, so a few options here. We've got Beanstalk Giant, which is both ramp and a threat. Acidic Slime, which is non-creature permanent destruction, basically. Xenagod, I was going to say Xenagod, but that's not Xenagod. This is Xenagos the Reveler, which is very good. I think the correct pick is Beanstalk Giant. Immortal Sun also has, like, legs. It's cost reduction, extra cards. We can play it early because we're ramping. But I think Beanstalk Giant's probably the best card for this deck in particular. Primal Command's not bad here. Find Finality is great, but we're not actually playing black. So I'm just going to take the Dork. Hopefully Primal Command comes around. Eternal Witness is good. Bonder Prodigy is actually kind of interesting. He gives us a fantastic, like, top-end mana sink, but only if we get a lot more non-creature big things, like if we start getting things like Woodfall Primus and whatnot. Eternal Witness is not as good without a fetch land of some kind, at least to get, like, minimum amount of value. I wonder if I should take Nissa. She rewards going wide, and we already have several small mana dorks. I think this might actually be better. The correct pick, the overall correct pick, is probably either Bloodbraid or Windswept Heath. I think I'm going to take Bloodbraid. The extra Cascade value is really nice in a green deck, even if it only hits dorks most of the time. I'm not guaranteed to be playing red. Windswept Heath might help me get there, but I haven't seen a Stomping Ground or anything yet, so... Okay, Hero of Oxid Ridge is double red and a little more aggro than I want to be. We're kind of like big mid-range, so we want payoffs for going wide. And I guess Battle Cry technically is that, but we don't want to be attacking with our... X is always 0. If you cast a spell with X in its cost without paying its mana cost, X is 0. I think I'm just going to take Baloth here. Baloth is kind of big, gains life. If my opponent has Liliana, we put it directly onto the battlefield. Crater's Claws we could take just for damage, but I want to stay mostly green as much as I can. Okay, so we have Klothys, who's a good clock, extra mana, extra damage. Avacyn's Pilgrim, or like Glorybringer. Klothys is probably the best card. I want to take Pilgrim, because I'm looking for Hoof, but there's no guarantee we can get Hoof. I'm going to take Pilgrim. I think I just want to ramp as hard as I can. Oh gosh, yeah, I forgot I just took Bloodbraid. I definitely should have taken Klothys. What was I thinking? Kano, you idiot! Let's see. At this point, probably should take Collective Defiance. I don't think I'm playing anything in this pack. Tatiova's kind of nice because landfall, we draw cards. Maelstrom Pulse, we're not playing black. We could play Knight of the Reliquary. We have Gilded Goose, Birds of Paradise, and Avacyn's Pilgrim that tap for white, as well as we could like splash it off of Beanstalk Giant. We don't have any lands that we like need to tutor up or anything, so I think I just take Collective Defiance. I'm probably not playing Collective Defiance, but... Alright. There is a Lovestruck Beast and a Pelucranos, as well as Abbot and Char. Char is pretty decent removal on red, because it is 4 damage. Pelucranos is like sort of removal, sort of a threat. We have a lot of 1/1s, and Lovestruck Beast is something to do on turn 1 as well as turn 3, which is kind of tempting. I've never been a huge fan of Pelucranos. I'm going to try Lovestruck Beast this time around. Char was probably the actual pick out of all of that. But okay, we have Chord of Calling or Nyxbloom Ancient. Chord of Calling is definitely the better pick here, but Nyxbloom Ancient is so absurdly ridiculous that, like, if we were ever going to make Genesis Wave work, we need Nyxbloom Ancient. So I'm going to try Nyxbloom Ancient, just for funsies. Immortal Sun came all the way around, which is kind of surprising to me. We could take Bonfire, sort of as a one-sided board wipe, because we do have so many dorks. It's probably better than your average, like Pyroclasm or Fireball or anything effect in this kind of deck. I think I'm going to take Immortal Sun, though. I think that's on average going to be better for us. Legion Warboss is fantastic, especially when you play it on turn 2 off of a 1-mana Mana Dork. I guess at this point we need to decide whether we're doing ramp things or whether we're doing aggro things. I mean, I guess maybe we can do both. Primal Command just tutors up whatever our meanest creature is at the time and, like, plows under. I think I'm going to take Primal Command. Everybody knows Warboss is good, but... this is definitely a Terror of the Peaks deck. Okay. Crater's Claws. I guess we take Crater's Claws. Don't have any reason to splash white, so no Razor Verge Thicket. 5-color good stuff, let's jank. I guess we'll take Experimental Frenzy. I don't know that we're actually going to play that either, because we have some very expensive stuff. Tatiova in the sideboard, and I guess we can take a Mutavault. Alright, pack 3. So we have so many dorks. And good ramp. I think we just take Karn. Karn being the best thing we can ramp to in this pack. Steel Champion would be great if we were doing more aggressive things, but this is just good. I like Gilded Lotus here. Hydroid Krasis. We have like Birds, Rattleclaw, Mystic, and Gilded Goose, so blue mana is not actually that hard. I do have a Genesis Wave and a Genesis Hydra, so I kind of just want the Gilded Lotus for like top end mana. Take Steve. I think Gilded Lotus is actually going to be better for us than Steve will. Steve is a good card, though, don't get me wrong. Glad to have you, Phoenix. How you been? All right. So we have Fixing. We have Avenger of Zendikar, and we have Great Henge. Now, Great Henge is fun because it's a big mana rock, effectively, that also turns all of our dorks into cantrips. But Avenger of Zendikar wins the game. And of course, like, Fixing would be nice. There's also Bone Crusher Giant, which is also really, really good, because we're kind of lacking of things to do on turn 2. It's kind of tough. I think Bone Crusher Giant's probably the best pick. Splash Niv? Nah, that ain't happening. I'm gonna take Avenger. Woodfall Primus. Oh, Devoted Druid. Devoted Druid's one of the best mana dorks, because it can produce 2 mana in a single turn. And there's a Walking Ballista 2 and a Westvale Abbey? Are you kidding me? Yeah, we gotta go Woodfall Primus, though. Where's my sense of adventure? Okay, Beast Whisperer is fantastic. Beast Whisperer making all of our dorks draw cards. Overgrown Tomb, we're not splashing black. Swamp Forest Plains, we don't need those colors. There's a Wolf Willowhaven, which is also a ramp card, but that might come around. Grinder says adventurous. Good thing I don't have a grinder. Lots of thick green stuff in these packs. Yeah, no kidding. Like, green's actually wide open. Lotus Cobra would be absurd if we had any landfall at all. I kind of like Domri, simply from the creatures can't be countered aspect of him. He kind of like pseudo-anthems our guys, too. If I had a single fetch land, I would probably take Lotus Cobra, but because we have so many 1-mana mana dorks, we want to accelerate to a turn 3 play on turn 2. I'm going to take Domri, Anarch of Bolas. Tooth and Nail. Tooth and Nail is kind of like... I think that's actually a higher cost than we can get to in a reasonable fashion. I think we take Hedron Archive. You guys. Yeah, Hedron Archive it is. Hoof! There it is! Yeah, we gotta go Hoof. Absolutely. 100% Hoof. Let's see. Rada, Heir of Keld, is another creature that lets us play lands off the top of our deck, which is something green decks really like to do. Steel Leaf Champion's good, but it's more aggressive than just, like, rampy. Hydroid Krasis came around, and we can technically splash it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 blue sources. 5. Yeah, we can actually play Hydroid Krasis without a single island in the deck, I think. Ooh, boy. It's just really bad off of things like Genesis Wave. Number of green mana symbols on a card becomes inconsequential. Kind of feels that way sometimes. I'll take the Copperline Gorge. Gonna mill myself with Krasis? No. I'm gonna mill myself with Nyxbloom Ancient into Krasis. Have you read this card, Phoenix? This one came out while you were on your hiatus. It just, like, anytime you tap a permanent, you get 3 times the mana. I'm gonna take Magmatic Sinkhole for more removal in case we need it. Wolf Willowhaven, definitely. Dramoka's Command in the sideboard, and Chain Whirler in the sideboard. Alright, seems like we got ourselves a ramp deck, boys. Let's go ahead and group creatures separately. Let's see what we're dealing with here. So I want to stay off of double red as much as possible. And I want to stay off as many... It reads, why the hell didn't you pick Ballista? Fair. I'm going to cut as many non-permanent spells as I can because we have Genesis Wave and Genesis Hydra. So I'm going to cut Crater's Claws, Sinkhole, because we're not like fetching to power it up or anything. Defiance and Mortars are both kind of situational. Experimental Frenzy is way worse than Outpost Siege for us. Garruk Relentless is a little awkward with Immortal Sun in the same deck, so same as Karn. Let's see. We probably don't need Lovestruck Beast. We have 20-some creatures. I gotta cut some creatures. Baloth can be sideboard because we have some real chonk at the top end. Like Forked Bolt, I'm also going to sideboard. I suspect we won't actually need that much burn unless we go up against another green deck like ours in the league. Outpost Siege, I've got a feeling, is just going to mill our important cards. It is a way to draw extra cards, and I should probably keep it in the deck, but... If I had to cut my worst top-end card, it's probably Nyxbloom Ancient, and I don't want to cut that because we have a ton of X spells that'll be fun to play with. So I'm going to try cutting Garruk and Outpost Siege. Well, let's think. I'll do the big think with my brain. Fun greater than viability. I agree. At least for this draft. I'm going to do mono green, or close to it. I'm going to do it my way for now. I need to cut 4 more cards. Probably at least 2 of them need to be non-creature spells. So I'm going to cut the Immortal Sun. And... we have no land untapping going on. It's not like we have Arbor Elf. I'm going to cut Wolf Willowhaven. For same reason I specified earlier, we have a ton of 1-mana dorks. And we're trying to play a 1-mana dork into a 3-drop, basically. That's like our strongest line. Why did I remove the ramp? Because that's easily our worst piece of ramp, and by far. Karn's better than Krasis. Yeah, I should probably cut the Krasis. I have to splash it in off a Mana Dork. We don't have that many like things that require us to play additional lands or anything, so I'm actually kind of fine doing this. Copperline Gorge over a forest. We do have a double red spell, but we have several rainbow Mana Dorks that can tap for red. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 non-land sources that can produce red. 1 rampant growth effect. I think we got ourselves a deck. We have ways we can take this if this doesn't work out. We did hit over, I'm currently at 401 subscribers on YouTube, which has got me pretty thrilled. We are 4/10 the way to monetization on YouTube, so I can start getting ad revenue, which is fantastic. But we've also doubled our subscriber count inside of like 35 days, which is crazy to me. Absolutely nuts. So, deck name, Green Goes Vroom. Oh man, were you here when we did the mono red thing and the guy got super salty last week? Because he was saying things like, "Oh, you're playing mono red. You've got absolutely no skill. Blah blah, this and that." I just went, "Ha ha, mono red, go bird." Oh man, that was a good time. I should build spreading seas deck. I think you always wanted me to build that. We made Jund mono blue when they played against us, which is pretty fantastic. That's like the fun form of land destruction. Just turn their lands into islands. Apparently people are scared of queuing up in the modern cube queue. Alright, here we go, round 1. Oh, fun. That's always good. Nice. That's fantastic. So this is a turn 3 Hedron Archive and a turn 4 Karn. I think I gotta keep that. Bit more of a delay than usual. I didn't change any settings, and it says I haven't dropped any frames on my end. I'm not sure why that would be. If it gets real bad, let me know. So opponent is also playing some sort of blue-white control deck. We'll play Rattleclaw Mystic. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent attacks us. Their creature has Shadow, so we can't block. And they loot. For anyone who doesn't know, creatures with Shadow can only block or be blocked by other creatures with Shadow. Opponent discards a Thoughtseize, so they are Esper control at the very minimum. Rabid Worm, you showed up. How's it going? Don't think I don't see you in the chat. Ah! Thank you, Rabid Worm, for following the stream. I think I crashed my overlay. Oh, man. Sorry about that. Clicked in the wrong spot. So opponent played a land and fatal pushed my mana dork like a jerk. So we'll play a forest, play Courser. Birds of Paradise on top. You bring contact from the void. How have you been, man? I haven't talked to you in ages. Opponent loots away a swamp. Plays a swamp. And plays an Atris. The top pile will be presented face up, and the bottom pile will be presented face down. Okay, you can have 2 lands or an unknown. Like an oak in the evergreen forest. The odd one out and dying faster than everyone else. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Play a forest, gain a life, play Hedron Archive, pass the turn. It's worth noting my opponent took a Spell Queller. Sorry, man. That's like how my brain works, though. It's like the first thing that goes like that. Opponent's still looting with their Shadow Creature. I really hope they tap out for something, or just only have Spell Queller. That way we can resolve Karn and make them very sad. Or honestly, just Primal Command them. Should type Spellquell this and play Karn. No, but I will play Karn and take Scarab God. That kind of seems like fun. Play a mountain off the top of our deck. Ooh, Craterhoof Behemoth. So we have 7 mana now. If I play Karn and down tick him on Scarab God, Atris kills him because Atris has Menace. I could just play Rada and Birds and force my opponent to be ready for the Craterhoof inning. Ooh, I could actually Primal Command, put their Colonnade on top, and I could gain 7 life. I probably should deal with that Scarab God. I could play Karn and uptick him. That would limit my opponent's capabilities as well as keep him alive. So I think I'm going to do that, actually. Play Karn, uptick Karn. Start running my opponent's hand out. Accurate. Alright, they give us Spell Queller. I think I might just block Scarab God with Courser. Although, if they play like an untap land and just attack all out at Karn, I think we'll let him die. They attack us to loot. And they attack Karn for 5. Honestly, if they're going to attack Karn with Scarab God, they also should attack Karn with Atris, because Atris has Menace. They attack us, and they attack us. Okay. Sure. Nope, nope, they changed their mind. Except they don't. They're just attacking us. Restart the game. Yeah, I kind of want to. So we'll take the damage. Do it for the memes. I already restarted the game in one of my most recent Tron VODs I put on YouTube. I was at 2 life versus a deck that was running 8 different bolts. And I restarted the game. It was pretty fantastic. The only thing I exiled was a Soulscar Mage, too. Hey, Joe West, glad you could make it. Opponent Murderous Riders Karn. We draw a Hoof. Ooh, Avenger of Zendikar. That'll be fun. So play a mountain, gain some life. Play a birds. And play Rada. Heir of Keld. Alternatively, we can Primal Command. Which is better? Primal Commanding and actually tutoring for a dork makes Craterhoof Behemoth really, really good. Yeah, I think I'm just going to Primal Command. Put Celestial Colonnade on top of their deck, and then get a dork. What is my best 2 mana or less creature? I don't think we have any other 2 mana creatures. It's just Rattleclaw Mystic. So let's get Gilded Goose, because it flies. Play the goose. Make some food. Alright, come on. Cooperate with me, Moto, please. Thank you. No attacks. Pass the turn. Is there a red or black command spell? Yes. There is Incendiary Command and Profane Command, which are the red and black command spells specifically. They both suck. And there's Kolaghan's Command, which is red and black, and only 3 mana, and it's really good. I couldn't actually tell you what the modes on Incendiary Command are. I think one of them is destroy X target artifacts. Profane Command is target creature gets -X/-X, give X creatures fear, reanimate a creature CMC X or less, and then I don't even remember what the 4th mode is on Profane Command. It might be target player loses X life. That sounds more powerful than I think it is, though. Alright. We draw a land, play a forest off the top, gain a life. We just play Hoof, right? Team J-Bro, welcome back. This lethal? I did not do the math. It looks lethal. Go to combat. And attack. I played a modern cube that I posted to YouTube that had 10 planeswalkers in the deck, and it was fantastic. My opponent just eternalized a Dream Trawler, and I don't actually know if that's going to be enough to save them. Can you describe the philosophy that guides your cube dedication in this particular station? With this one, green was open. Actually, I made a few suboptimal picks in the name of fun this time. I decided that if I was going to take green and green was going to be open, I was going to play things like Nyx Bloom Ancient and Genesis Wave. Opponent blocks and blocks, and I think that's still enough to kill them. They might survive with the lifelink. Nope, they survived. Okay. So we die. We die exactly. Or we die with 1 more damage than normal because my opponent can just animate Colonnade and kill us. Sad days. Did not actually see the Dream Trawler in the grave. Alright. I have 2 children, 14 days and 19 months. When should I start cubing with them? As soon as they stop trying to eat the cards, I think would be a good time to start cubing with them. Start with a peasant cube, just in case they rough it up any, and then have them graduate with better, more expensive cubes as they become more responsible. Okay, so my opponent's playing a control-y deck with discard and counter spells and big life-linking threats. Do I have anything good sideboard for this? Why am I not playing Kessig Wolf Run? I feel like I should be playing a Kessig Wolf Run. I thought I put that in the deck. I probably should actually be playing Mutavault too with as much ramp as we have, just for an additional creature that can attack with Hoof. Is that a new Garrick? No, this is Flip Garrick from Innistrad. Honestly, I think that's the only change I really want to make. Like, Mortars might be good. Just gonna run it back. Alright, we'll play first. You fear for our country and hope things will get better. I agree. I'm gonna keep this hand. This is a turn 2 Domri or a turn 2 Courser. We'll start Copperline Gorge and play Gilded Goose. See if our opponent bolts the bird. The answer is yes. They push the bird off a cliff and it kills the bird. Play a forest. Pass the turn. Got nothing to do this turn. So next turn, we have 2 options. We can either play Courser and start manipulating our top deck, or we can play Domri and try and accelerate into a turn 4 Terror of the Peaks, and I think that line sounds a little bit better. We'll go with that after cracking the food to gain life. Draw Beast Whisperer. Play Domri. Tick up Domri. Add green. Too bad we don't have a Mana Dork to play off of that. So Domri, as long as we use his mana to... As long as we activate his uptick, my opponent can't counter our spells or anything like that. Opponent plays an Isureth, the Awakener. Draw a forest. Play a forest. Tick up Domri. Add red. Play Terror of the Peaks. What DC supervillain would this deck be? My knowledge of DC is not as good as Marvel. Probably Killer Croc. No, is Killer Croc Marvel? Which one is the Batman villain? Because there's a counterpart for that character in both universes. Croc is DC? Okay, cool. Grundy? Every time I hear that, I just think of that stupid... God, I don't even know what video that is. It's just like, Solomon Grundy want pants too! Alright, opponent gets another Tri-land tapped. They got a lot of good mana fixing. They play a Midnight Reaper. Okay, they attack Domri with a Death Touch creature that is fairly decent. We have 6 mana this turn. Let's play... If we play Courser, we can activate Kessig for 1. Which would let us kill Isareth. Ah, I like this. I like this. So let's... Mind me a magic playing Conan O'Buck. That sentence I'm having trouble describing. Is that a Conan O'Brien joke? I'm going to add mana first. We'll say green. Play Kessig Wolfron first, and I think I can do this. Oh, you know what? That doesn't work. I can activate it, but I can only activate it for 0. Lost a life, you're right. Whoops. Oh well. Use this to kill Midnight Reaper. Woodfall Primus on top of the deck. I guess I could have killed Isareth. I forgot Domri's pump. I was trying to be smart in 3 different ways and failed at all of them. Oh well. We mostly accomplished what we set out to do. If my opponent attacks with Isareth to try and kill Domri, we obviously block. If you can walk, you can dance. If you can you can sing. All right. Tarek101, welcome. How's it going? I saw that you followed on one of my off days. Much appreciated. Glad to have you over here. Right now we're playing some Modern Cube. Oh, what is this? Extinction event. Alright, opponent takes out our odd mana cost creature. I do not have Omnath, no. Play a mountain. We're at 7 mana. We're 1 mana away from a Woodfall Primus. So let's go ahead and just play Beast Whisperer. Uptick and waste the mana. Like a baller. Pass the turn. Yeah, this is one of the heaviest green-red decks I've ever drafted. I'm playing Nyx Bloom Ancient for the lulls, but we also have Genesis Wave, so it's not necessarily for the lulls. Nyx Bloom Ancient just guarantees that Genesis Wave gets Crater Hoof. I'm going to play a Noxious Gearhulk. This is one of the gigantic black creatures they didn't actually stack Death Touch on, like Soul of Innistrad. And we draw a land, which is perfect. So now we have 8 mana. Add green. Let's see. Blue, red, green, or white, black, green. Guess we'll take out this one. The heaviest blue deck I've ever played? Is it Time Warps? Battle of Wits? Oh yeah, no, for sure. I need to put back together Battle of Turns. Battle of Turns was so much fun. Alright, opponent attacks and kills Domri. We can't block because this has Menace and not Death Touch. We untap, we draw Beanstalk Giant. Was the 1-turn 4 Archive Trap Dream with Demir Mill? Yeah, I am really sad because that's the only time I've ever had all 4 Archive Traps in my hand. And I was really hoping it would be the turn 0 kill. But it wasn't, unfortunately. We'll go ahead and no, you know what? I think we just cast Beanstalk Giant here. What's my favorite movie and what could you most like to play Magic in? Why not search first and then pump? Yeah, I could have. My opponent's life total is low enough that I think I just wanted to play another threat. Opponent bounces the Gear Hulk. And what country would you most like to play Magic in? I think I'm fine playing Magic in America, but I think it'd be fun to play Magic in Germany. Though they can't give cash prizes for their tournaments, I've heard. My favorite movie is either... If you asked me when I was a kid, I would say 007 GoldenEye. If you asked me as a teenager, I would have told you Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And as an adult, I'm honestly not sure. Alright, go to combat. Attack first. Opponent is going to trade. I think I'm fine giving up the Persist here, and then just casting Avenger. I kill both without pumping. Okay. So Persist, take out the Tri-land. Oh yeah, the best smallpox of all time, where we answered like 6 cards with 1 smallpox. It was a dork, a land, 2 Utopia Sprawls, and the card they discarded. I have to click the lands? What? I mean, my opponent basically has to have a Wrath here. And even if they do, there's a bunch of things we could top deck that are good. You started... Oh, you know what? There was a time where all of our commands got deleted, and I wasn't sure why. I think my opponent just has to downtick Sorin to kill Avenger, like, right now. Yep. Alright, we untap. We draw a forest. So, play a forest, go to combat. Attack our opponent, and attack Sorin. Go ahead and Wolf Run the token to kill Sorin. And our opponent for 5. Pass the turn. Yeah, Bone Daddy was pretty upset, and we never figured out why that happened. But all of our commands just disappeared one day. We had to remake some of them. I'm really sad because we lost my favorite quote, and I don't know it off the top of my head exactly, so I can't just, like, put it back up or I would. My opponent only has 1 card left. This is a Genesis Wave for 5? Problem is, a lot of our cards are more than 5. I think it's better to just be Wolf running our opponent right now. So go to combat. Attack, attack, attack. That gives us some counterplay around a Blessed Alliance, I think. Wolf run a token, a lot. So if my opponent has some kind of Celestial Flare effect, I can sacrifice the token that's a 0/1. We're attacking into a creature with shadow, so they can't even block. Okay, we take them to 4. Okay. Opponent attacks us, we can't block. They get to loot. They loot away a Spell Queller. Sleight of hand. So they must be digging for a Wrath. I will say if they Wrath, then I am going to Genesis Wave. And they concede. Awesome, so it's on to game 3. Do we want to make any adjustments? We don't really have any more resilient creatures or anything. I could bring in the Immortal Sun. Of course, I've got Karn liberated. Yeah. Garrick versus Control. What do I take out then? I don't even think he's particularly good against... Well, no, I guess he makes a lot of beasts. Immortal Sun over Wave. Immortal Sun turns off my Planeswalkers, though. I mean, I guess it anthems my guys, makes my stuff cost less, and draws us an additional card every turn, but... Did I draft 10 Planeswalkers this time? I did not. That was kind of a one-off, and it was a ton of fun. And I wish I could do that more often, but, like, that draft was so weird. Like, the only thing I can think of is, like, everybody was forcing mono green, because every other color was open, so I have no idea what people were picking. Immortal Sun. I took out Wave. Well, yeah, when you cast a Planeswalker, when you curve out Planeswalkers, it's pretty great when your opponent's not doing that. Does Mutavault help against Control? No, but Mutavault probably helps with the fact that we're playing Craterhoof. I need to figure out what my last card I should take out is. And why that's probably Nyx Bloom Ancient. Because Nyx Bloom Ancient, the only other card that we have that's an X cost is Genesis Hydra. And that we don't even need to cast for that much. So, alright, we'll try it like this. We'll see what happens. Apology not accepted. That's a mulligan. No ramp, all bombs. No lands. This one might actually work. I'm going to keep, and I'm going to put back Hoof, because we're the furthest off of casting Hoof. We have a couple of tutors for creatures. Best top deck here would be a 1-mana Mana Dork. Okay, that was the next best top deck. Turn 2 Dork into turn 3 Courser into... I guess Rada and then eventually Immortal Sun. Phoenix started watching me back when I used to play Battle of Wits and Time Warps exclusively. And that was a good time in Magic. A time before 3-mana Teferi and Modern Horizons. Miss Shiny Shirt streams? Me too. So I tried on my shiny shirts. And I couldn't even button them. A couple of them my arms didn't fit in anymore. And yes, I did get a little huskier, but it's not because I'm huskier. You saw when I did the Mono Blue Tron for the first time? Oh, nice. That was a fun time. So we can either attack for 2 damage and play Courser, or we can play Courser first and potentially get a land off our deck. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Me too. The problem is I would have to get them custom made at this point because I am just too huge. They only, like, the only ones I can find on the internet are, the biggest size they have is the Asian Quadruple XL, whatever that's called, but it equates roughly to an American Double X, except it's smaller, and it just doesn't fit me. Double X is what I wear, but it's just too small. Which is so sad, because I loved that so much. Can we draw... we'll have Terror of the Peaks. Play a mountain, gain a life. My opponent probably has a Spell Queller here. So go to combat. Oh yes, Ghost Kano. Attack for 2. I might have to do a spoopy scary stream for Halloween. Because it's not like I can go out and do anything. Which is really saddening to a guy like me. Play Rada. Play Llanowar Elves, pass the turn. We'll have to make a decision next turn on whether we play Terror of the Peaks or whether we play Immortal Sun. Have to play turns for a 5-0 on the 20th? Oh no. Well, I guess we're playing Immortal Sun. Oh, that's your birthday? Well then. Which day is the 20th? Tuesday. Unfortunately, I cannot stream on Tuesdays. I have a... It's not my birthday. It is not my birthday. I cannot stream on Tuesday, but I can stream the day after, and I will wish you a happy birthday. Opponent plays a Glorybound Initiate and a Midnight Reaper. Alright, we draw a couple cards here. Gilded Goose. And a Mutavault. So play a Forest. Play Terror of the Peaks. Oh, this is great. We get to honk down their Glorybound Initiate. Oh, that goose. Oh, that's fantastic. Commence the honking. Yeah, I'm gonna attack here. Peace was never an option. Fantastic. Should have played Mutavault, miscounted my mana, forgot that Immortal Sun reduces mana costs. But it's fine. Drawing 2 cards a turn feels great in Cube, by the way. I miss Staff of Nin being in Standard so much. No! Stop killing my good cards! We untap. We draw a Pilgrim. So play a Mutavault, play an Avacyn's Pilgrim. I don't think we attack for 1. I think we just make a food. Pass the turn. So the good news is our opponent can't activate their Planeswalkers. The bad news is we can't play or activate any of our 3. I mean, we can play them, they just don't do anything. Opponent attacks. I'm kind of tempted to animate Mutavault and block, but the fact that we have a Craterhoof Behemoth still in our deck means I'm probably not going to do that. Oof. Dream Trawler is a big problem. That's a card that will infinitely be hexproof. Let's go ahead and gain some life. Okay. We untap, we draw Garruk Relentless and Bloodbraid Elf. Play Blood Braid. Oh, hang on. That's one too many mana. Play Blood Braid. Cascade. We hit Dryad. So now our mana is rainbow mana. Play a forest. And as silly as it is, I am going to play Garruk. I think attacking gains my opponent more life than damage it would actually do. So I'm going to pass. I shouldn't F6 though, because we should have the ability to make food with a goose if we need to. Okay. Oh, Porter's doing fantastic. He's not down here in the basement with me right now, but he's doing quite well. He's been getting lots of walks, which is good for him and for me. Opponent's playing something big. They cast Finality. All creatures get -4/-4? Oh, you jerk. That means their Dream Trawler survives, and like nothing of ours does except Dryad. Except Dream Trawler is a 0/1. Wait a minute. Oh, you can put 2 1/1 counters on a creature you control. Okay. Alright, well, we gotta draw some good cards here. Hedron Archive is a bunch of redraws. Mountain. Okay, play Mountain. Play Archive. Draw cards. We've played our only double red card, so... Lands, huh? Play the tap land. Animate Mutavault. Go to combat. Speaking of Porter, I actually have to run upstairs and feed him really quick, because it is his dinner time right now. F6. I'll be right back. All right. Opponent's turn. Are we dead? That's 16 damage they're swinging for. So take a bunch. They gain a bunch. I'm not sure what we could hit in 2 draws that would kill our opponent. Probably nothing through a Lingering Souls. Let's go ahead and just gain life here. So they play Lingering Souls, making some spirits. They flash it back. Alright, 2 draws. We gotta win the game off them. Land? And Beast Whisperer. Alright, well, that's game. Alright, one moment while I restart Magic Online. I gotta look at my ugly mug for a minute. Sun was better than Genesis there, that's true. Although, if we'd had Genesis instead of Sun, we could have been activating Garrick for tokens that whole time. But they probably would have just attacked and killed him. So... Ah yes, the classic Kano restarts the client segment. Don't blame me, blame Wizards. Alright. I just have to wait for it to load. Alright. Queuing up for round 2. Such a risky move, making your camera that big with the followers you have. Play first. I think this is good. We'll keep. Start Forest, play Pilgrim. Pass the turn. Oh my. Opponent starts Island. We draw Avenger of Zendikar. Play a Forest, go to combat, and attack for 1. Roughly 4 times bigger if you count Battle of Wits. Play a mountain, and we'll play Hedron Archive. Okay, opponent remands, that's fine. I guess we don't technically have the ability. I was going to say next turn off of 5 mana, we could Beast Whisper into a green mana dork, but we don't have... a third green mana, basically, is what I was going to say. Well, there's a third green mana. So we have the option of Primal Command. Try mono green land destruction in Modern. I could do that. Primal Command, we could make them shuffle Uro back in. We could also tutor up, what is it called? Terror of the Peaks? It's probably better to put them back for a turn and tutor up something nasty. We could land destruction and shuffle, though. Actually, I like that. We can take them off of green. I've got some time after this. I have to adjust the list slightly, but I could play the Jeskai list after this one. That would be fun. I do have a hard cutoff just before 7:30. Like, I have to be done streaming by then, but... Okay, opponent opts. I mean, that just means we shuffle the opt back in, too. Okay, and another land. Alright, Modern Battle of Wits for next league. We're getting clicked. Well, we have two options, both of which are fine. That's where I would type rude in the chat if he did that to me. I am really, really happy with the amount of positivity that comes from all of the people posting on my YouTube stuff. You guys are very nice to me. I'm not going to attack into a Vendilion Click. We really need that mana, especially with a Genesis Wave. Swing for one? No. If we draw a land, we can play Avenger of Zendikar, which will draw us another card off of Beast Whisperer. Kind of hoping for dorks, really. Thank you, that means a lot to me. We untap. Ooh, Terror of the Peaks is pretty good. So play Terror of the Peaks, draw a card. Hoof. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent loots. Looting away an island. I somehow made Tenrak a wholesome experience. I'm not a miracle worker. Alright, no attacks for our opponent. We untap. We draw birds. Play birds, draw a card. Unfortunately, cawing is not the same as honking. Zero damage to Vendilion Click. We're going to send a message. Play that forest. We're holding all of our top end. I think we just Genesis Wave for some lands, really. Genesis Wave X3. Learning from Kano. Nani? Yeah, no, I've actually been quite educational about Tron, according to my YouTube followers, YouTube subscribers. They say I discuss actual strategy, which I try to when I can. Is it a how not to play segment? It is for some decks that I play that I'm really bad at. This looks like Sublime Epiphany, which is probably bad news for us. But I'm glad you're learning. That's true, that did happen. I mulled to 3, assembled Tron, and then drew like 3 cards. Okay. Opponent copies Click, bounces Terror, counters our Genesis Wave. So then they get to look at our hand, and they get to pick their poison. They get to choose how they want to die. I think they gotta put back Hoof because we have so many creatures right now. I think Tron is more of a begrudgingly knowledgeable situation. That's true. I don't enjoy playing Karn as much as I enjoy playing Jank. Or I don't enjoy playing Tron as much as I enjoy playing my Jank decks. But I do know how to play the deck relatively well. I'm not an expert by any means, but I've played the deck a lot. I could play Mono Blue Tron again, that is correct. It is a different flavor of Tron. I am worse at it, though, by far. I preferred playing Mono Black Dice Factory Karn Cloud Tron. That was fun. Where you use your excess mana to cast Death Clouds and resolve Karns. Play a Forest. That gives us 7 mana. Oh, I should have played Avenger of Zendikar and then played the Forest. That was awesome. Torment of Hailfiretron win. Alright, I guess I know what deck I'm playing next. Play Terror of the Peaks, draw a card. Yeah, I think Terror then Elves is actually fairly decent. Draw another card. Ooh, Rattleclaw Mystic is also good. Ping down the Vendilion Click. Play Rattleclaw. Draw a card. Order. You don't need to be doing that. What was he tapping mana for? It might have been a censor that he realized we had an Avacyn's Pilgrim for. Ping down that. Okay, it's entirely possible my opponent has a flash threat. I'm going to hold off on attacking this turn. I know I missed 3 damage there, but if my opponent does have a bigger flash threat, like a Gear Hulk or something, I don't just want to run Beast Whisperer into it. Beast Whisperer is keeping us in this game. Opponent plays a Spark Double, but has no creatures they can copy with it because its creatures are planeswalkers you control. Opponent does not read cards less than I don't. They concede. Alright. Is there an opponent punt button? There's exclamation point unpunt, but that doesn't undo my stupidity. That only undoes my stupidity, or perceived stupidity. Avenger into Terror triggers. It would have been fun, but it would have been a bunch of 0 damage triggers. If we had a fetch land or some way to instant speed landfall, that'd have been fantastic. You'll never unpunt. I'm gonna mulligan this. We have too many high drops in our hand, and this hand is way better. Only 1 red mana, though. I'm gonna put back a forest. I think holding Terror is fine. All we have to do is draw a mountain, and then it's playable. So, Star Forest, play Goose. Okay, make a food. Pass the turn. Wanna plays a forest. We draw Dryad. So play Forest. I am going to try and run out Dryad because it's a lot higher upside if it lands. But it's not going to land, of course. Condescend. Ah, see? I knew my opponent had a counterspell that was like a Force Spike. So they get to go scrying. Kano says that and then draws a forest. And I took myself off of Hedron Archive. Like a genius. We went for the greed play, but that's fine. Opponent plays a Search for Iskanta. We draw Woodfall Primus. So play a forest. Make a food. Play Avacyn's Pilgrim. Pass the turn. Mountain still makes Terror of the Peaks playable next turn. People just can't find Iskanta, can they? Nope. Okay, opponent's got an Uro. They gain some life. They explore out a land. We untap. Draw Rattleclaw Mystic. Play Hedron Archive. Rattleclaw Mystic can be a pseudo-ritual. I actually think I'm going to morph this out. Pass the turn. Because that can give us the double red to play Terror. Or, of course, potentially play Woodfall Primus. Okay, opponent plays a Jace. We draw Karn. That probably means we Karn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So unmorph. Add mana. Play Karn. Pact of Negation. Nice. Well, we know what our opponent's doing next turn, and the answer is nothing. Okay, I'm going to attack for 2 and risk running this into a Vendilion Click. My opponent has to spend all of their mana this turn paying for that counterspell, or they lose. So they pay for it. Okay. When is the next cube up, and what will it be? Next cube video will go up tomorrow, and it'll probably be Modern Cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 mana off of Woodfall Primus. We can't play Terror of the Peaks, neither. I have a lot of older videos. A lot of older videos. Oh no, the next cube on Moto? I don't know, I'd have to check their event schedule. I think we're gonna put Escanta on top of their deck and shuffle their grave in. There's a there's a video I have. It's only got like 20 views. It's a meme video. It's like 40 seconds long, called Top Deck God. Would recommend watching it. That was playing Battle of Wits, I do believe. It was like a 1 in 60 chance of drawing a Terminus because we were playing like 3 or 4 or something like that in that version. Alright, we untap. We draw Birds of Paradise. Make a food. Play birds. Pass the turn. Yeah, it's actually really disgusting. Back when I used to run, the takeaway off of that video is you had a mullet. I had a long hair, and that's just how it, like, it was all like this. And it did not look good. I saw a video, I watched one of those videos recently, and I was like, I look disgusting. I am never doing that again. Never gonna be a long-haired Kano. Okay, we untap. Draw a forest. Play a forest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. They're all, I think all of my old videos are still up. Play Woodfall Primus. Opponent has a remand. Sure. Sure. Alright, pass the turn. Oh, you put it in the Discord? Oh, you haven't been to the Discord yet. Six Sigma isn't here to plug the Discord, so I'll do it for him. Yeah, in the channel labeled memes, Jod posted the Top Deck God video. It was me being unnecessarily edgy, and oh boy. Alright. Draw a forest, play a forest. Play Woodfall Primus. We can pay for a mana leak. Mystic Snake. What a jerk. Sacrilege pays off. Almost like a second sun would be good here. Oh, you mean Immortal Sun? Yeah, yeah, it would. Are we untap? Ooh, Genesis Hydra. Yeah, let's go for big. They're not running that many red lands. X8, just in case we had hoof. Let's put a Whisperwood Elemental on the battlefield. That way we have some Wrath protection. I could have hit the Gilded Lotus and we would have been fine on mana, but it didn't let us cast Terror of the Peaks this turn, or I probably would have. Alright, we get some card advantage here in the form of a Manifest, manifesting Courser of Kruthix. Opponent's still fogging the Mana Dork. My luck is I'll attack and I'll get like Aetherized or Aether Spouts or something. I'd be really sad. Urza, Lord High Artificer, you say. They make a construct. Alright, opponent's casting a spell without paying its mana cost. And it's one Gear Hulky boy. It'll target Remand as it enters, but can't cast it because there's no legal targets. Alright. Untap. We draw Llanowar Elves. I'm going to go ahead and draw 2 additional cards here. Ooh, a Genesis Wave. Seems like it might be a fun follow-up next turn. So let's go ahead. Red, red. Green, green, green. Play Terror of the Peaks. Yeah, Terror of the Peaks followed up by a massive Genesis Wave could very well just kill our opponent. Especially if we hit Crater Hoof and we stack the triggers right. I'm going to cast a Llanowar Elves. We have Wrath protection because of Whisperwood Elemental. We also get to shock something when We manifest something at the end of turn. So we're going to ping Jace for 1. Pass the turn. Genesis Wave for 19, let's go. We manifest Hoof, the one card we didn't want to manifest. We'll kill the construct. Oh man, if we'd have cast Hoof this turn, or the next turn, could you imagine? All of our creatures would be like 40/40s with trample and haste. Opponent's gonna try taking an extra turn, huh? You think the extra turn will save you? Alright, they take up Jace. No attacks, interestingly enough. Honestly, if they'd attacked, I'd probably chump with all my dorks and sack Whisperwood Elemental. Because that would give us like 6 damage to kill their Planeswalker with. It is not available in Cube, unfortunately. But plays in a row. They get a redraw. Gain a little life. Dream Cube. You would have to play an ungodly amount of lands. I've actually... So I did play Battle of Wits in a limited pool a couple of times. We had a Pick Your Poison sealed league that we did. And we allowed trading in the league in college. And so, like, you had to trade one card for one card. But I opened up, like, 6 Cold Snap packs, and somebody else opened M13, and I immediately traded for Battle of Wits. I just played all my pool in, like, 100 lands. It was fantastic. I think I won every single match. I did mean things to good people. Alright, we untap. We draw Avenger of Zendikar. I do remember crushing a poor mill player. It was quite fantastic. I mean, there's no reason not to just fire off a big wave, right? Yeah, let's try it. I don't have anything better to be doing. Surgical you, your computer engulfs in flames. That's true. Moto cannot handle the search the deck dialogue when freaking Battle of Wits is in play. Like, which sucks because half the deck is like tutors, and so you lose like a minute of time whenever you Gifts Ungiven yourself. Or whenever you cast Gifts Ungiven and you have to search your deck for 4 cards. Pact of Negation. What a jerk. Mill is usually a buy matchup when you have... I'm just going to just cast something off of Urza. Is that what's going on here? Yeah, I'm going to swing the Chonky Boy. I should have done that last turn, but I forgot. They're going to Cryptic Command, Bounce Terror, and tap all of my creatures. 6 mana Artifact would have won this? Not necessarily. Opponent has to pay 5 or lose the game. Big deck with reshuffle potential. Straight up savage. Agreed. Joest, if I can't make it to playing through the entire league with Battle of Wits like you requested, I will do a extra full video and put it up tomorrow for you. Simply because I do have a hard cutoff, and I'm sorry about that. I should have time, because I still have about an hour and 50 minutes, but Battle of Wits games can run long, so we'll see. I guess we try replaying Terror of the Peaks. We manifested Rada. We just gotta go for the big swing, right? Domri on top. Go to combat. Attack Jace. 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 And Jace. Okay, they're wheeling a card with Urza. They hit Opt. Get ready for Aetherize? Yeah, I know. Ugh. Okay. Opponent chumps. Blocks. And blocks. Oh, I just realized I didn't leave up mana to activate Rada like I had intended. This was actually a super bad attack. Alright, Jace will take 5. Flip up Courser. Pass the turn. I'm going to hold this forest. We manifest Domri. Drawing a forest next turn. When it replays a search for Iskanta. Okay, opponent shrinks our big 8/8 with Jace. Passes. We untap. Draw Forest. Play Avenger. This is a big Condescend? I think it would have to be. Yep. Okay. Can't pay for it. Play a Forest. Gain a life. Make a food. Go to combat. Yeah, finally. Attack for 6. Our opponent. Opponent just takes it. No blocks. They go to 15. Mountain getting eaten by the 4/4. I actually don't want to play this Beast Whisperer now. Because we only have 11 cards left in our deck. Nyx Bloom Ancient on top of our deck. Okay. Green is actually supposed to have the second most card draw other than blue, but its card draw has to be tied to its creatures. I guess we should attack first. Go to combat. At this point, do we just start swinging out again? I feel like I should. That's right. I'm attacking with the 0/2 Goose. No, the dorks are part of the plan. Hi, Porter Pie. What's up? Oh no! A 9/9 Shark Typhoon. Opponent gets to draw. Sure. Sharknado episode 8. They block our 6/8, and they block our 4/4. But you know what's fun? We get to sack Whisperwood Elemental. This guy dies, manifesting Nyx Bloom Ancient. Which we can use to do 2 damage to Urza. We could also hit our opponent for 2, but probably going to rely on combat damage to be closing this out. Okay, pass the turn. Not going to play out Beast Whisperer. If anything, it's going to be a burn spell with Terror of the Peaks, but it's going to be our last burn spell because I don't want to actually draw out. Just swing out and win. No, I don't want to make the good play. Alright, opponent shrinks Rattleclaw Mystic because they have a vendetta with that particular card. Swing out and win at instant speed? How do I win at instant speed? Forest on top. Well, might as well play it. Go to combat. Opponent is going to click us. Okay. They're going to see we have nothing. Go to combat. Opponent has Snapcaster Mage. Oh, they have Snapcaster for Cryptic? Did I just lose? I might have just lost. Alright, beginning of combat. They have 14, 17, 18, 19 damage. We can survive. If that's all the damage they have, we can actually survive. So our opponent wants to tap all of our creatures. So we turn up Nyx Bloom Ancient. We make a food. Float mana. Gain life. Gain life. Alright, everything gets tapped. I can't play Whisper because I tapped for that wrong. But I should have. Because if they have even one more point of damage, I think we die. So if I lose, that is completely due to mistapping. Okay, opponent activates as Kanta. They're looking for anything. They completely whiff. Can we say punt? You can say punt if I lose. Because the intent is to use this Beast Whisperer to shoot my opponent in the face. West! They Thought Scour us. Attack in the air for 12. The other team can fumble. It's true. We untap. We draw Beanstalk Giant. Cast Beanstalk Giant, and hopefully this is the end of it. Oh god, hang on. We have a Nyx Bloom Ancient. So much mana. Such an unreasonable card. Alright, 9 damage to our opponent's face. Just Searing Wind them. Nimble Obstructionist. Alright. Opponent cycles the Stifle Bird. Okay, so we Beast Whisperer. Man, I love me some Stifle Bird. Shoot down Snapcaster Mage. Go to combat. Tag with everybody at our opponent. And I swear to God, if we get fogged. Yeah, you know what? We'll unmorph Flip Dudes at instant speed. I don't think you understand. Morph is faster than instant speed. Morph is a special action that can't be responded to. Unmorph, that is. So you can actually unmorph creatures in response to things that are split second. You can actually counter things like Angel's Grace with the guy that counters instants and sorceries when he flips up. Fun times. It's come up in EDH a couple of times for me. Use them versus Tron. Nimble Obstructionist is a card that is one of my favorite like pet cards. It has stifled a lot of things for me in Battle of Wits. Current Battle of Wits list doesn't actually run him, but usually he shows up in other versions. I'm going to restart Moto again because that match took so freaking long. When you can see the seconds ticking up, and they're taking longer than a second per second, you have the better version of this headset? That's fair. I've had this one for a long time. It's actually starting to fall apart. Come on, Moto. I hate that startup noise so much, by the way. I wish that they would just get rid of it entirely, because it doesn't need to exist, and it is super loud always. It actually has fucked with my volume mixer settings. Like while I was turning, like if I turn on Moto while I'm watching a YouTube video or something, the YouTube video will get as loud as my output will allow. Not every time, but enough that it's really pissing me off. This is a great start. If we had a mountain, this would be an amazing start. But Beanstalk Giant can get us to the mountain. Just, I think we would rather curve into Domri than we would curve into Beanstalk Giant. Yes, I am still looking for a silent click mouse. I bought one, and it is exactly as loud as the mouse that I have right now. Opponent starts Ancestral Vision Suspend. Play a mountain. Let's go Fertile Footsteps and get ourselves a mountain. Or play a forest, I mean, and get ourselves a mountain. Opponent untaps, Ancestral Vision ticking down. They play a swamp. We draw a forest. Play a forest. I kind of just want to Primal Command them, but Bloodbraid Elf guarantees we do something this turn through our opponent's counterspell. Yeah, let's Bloodbraid. I'm not going to cast Genesis Hydra. Get in, attack for 4. Okay, opponent takes 4. Awesome, thank you. I'll take a look at it later. We draw Karn. If we play Domri, we can just kill Liliana. I was thinking about perhaps using Primal Command to like shuffle her in. Need the clickety clacks to be as loud as possible to annoy people, and you like the clicking? Oh gosh, well a lot of people do not, and for my current setup I'm not able to change how that's done. We draw a Terror of the Peaks. So let's go ahead and add red mana. We'll cast a Terror of the Peaks. Attack for 4. If my opponent blocks here, that's totally fine. At least it's not like Ad Nauseam, where I have the clicking of victory, where we repeat the Ad Nauseam yes to draw our whole deck. Alright, opponent trades. Need to keep the loud one for when you play Ad Nauseam, or it's just not the same. I'll keep that in mind. If we draw a land, we can play Karn, which would be amazing. As it stands, we can play Whisperwood Elemental or Primal Command. Oh wait, hang on. I mathed that wrong, didn't I? Yeah, I'm still mana off. Alright, well, tick up. Add green. I'm going to play around a Censor. Play Whisperwood Elemental. If I ever play Twiddlestorm, I need the obnoxious clicky clacks. I'll keep that in mind too. Hit our opponent for 5. Opponent swift ends, loses life, but they still take the damage. Get in for a bunch. Opponent goes to 3. Basically, any creature off the top kills them, or if they can't answer Terror of the Peaks right now. Opponent plays Ashiok Nightmare Muse. A down tick. I'm going to exile Primal Command. Draw Woodfall Primus, which unfortunately we cannot cast. Add red. Replay Terror. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an island. They Noxious Gearhulk to kill Terror. We draw Rada, Heart of Keld. Well, we can play Rada and fight the Nightmare, but we lose Domri in the process if we do that. And I think we need to keep Domri around for a turn, hoping to hit a land. So we're going to plus him to 8. Play Rada. Oh, 1 second, buddy. Oh, shoot. The dog distracted me. There's a forest on top of my deck, and it's going to get exiled by my opponent attacking. Ugh. Opponent has a Heartless Act. They make another Nightmare. Opponent hits Domri for 7. We lose Forest Hedron Archive. Domri goes to 1. Alright, I'm going to scoop it up. Because even if we could play Karn, it wouldn't work. Versus my opponent's deck. Oh, why is Kessig still not in the deck? And Mutavault, really? I'm not playing Immortal Sun. Just because we lost to a Planeswalker doesn't mean you play Immortal Sun. We have too many Planeswalkers it shuts off. Sinkhole can hit Planeswalkers. Maybe I should be playing Sinkhole for removal. Nah, I'm just going to run it back like this. We'll play first. No, they don't. Domri comes down turn 2 off a dork. Like, definite keep here. We're going to try and rush out this Gilded Lotus into a superpowered Genesis Wave. So we'll start Forest, play Llanowar Elves, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Swamp, passes, we draw a Forest, play a Forest, play Gilded Goose, attack for 1, take our opponent to 19. Opponent plays an Island, passes, we draw Avenger of Zendikar, play a Mountain. We have to try and play Gilded Lotus. The upside is just too high. Yeah, okay. That sucks, but nothing we can do about it. So we're going to have to try and resolve Beast Whisperer and then hope to draw our other dorks or something. Do I go as episode 2-3 Kenobi for Halloween? I do not, usually. Usually I just dress up in my goth outfit and go. I do have the beard and hair for it, you got me. That name sounds familiar, Phoenix, but I'm drawing a blank right now. Ah, yes, okay, that makes sense. I know what you're talking about now. That's cool. Alright, kind of hoping to draw creatures. Perfect. Play birds. Draw a card. It's a forest. So play a forest, make a food, pass. So next turn we'll have 7 mana. We could play Avenger of Zendikar, which would draw us a card. It wouldn't make us very many plants, though. Wow. That was rude. Opponent hits us with Finale of Eternity, killing 3 things. We're off of our artifact mana, as well as some of our best creatures, and some of our only creature ramp. We draw a forest. I don't know that I want a Genesis Wave for 2. probably, or for 3, I guess. We'll use it and try and hit lands. Perfect. Now I can cast Woodfall Primus. An attack with only 16 lands, and we hit 3 lands off of a Genesis Wave. What are the freaking odds? They're not great, I'll tell you that much. Alright, Joest. So I only have about an hour and 20 minutes, and that's almost certainly not enough to play through a Battle of Wits League. I can either pick a faster deck, and I can do that. I can make you a separate video, which can go up as a bonus video for YouTube tomorrow, or I can open with it on the next stream. I could also start it now and finish it later in like a video for you if you'd like. You just want one game? Okay. I tell you what, I'll do 2-mans then until I'm out of time with it. Opponent has a stop on our upkeep. We draw a Mutavault. Play Avenger. Make a ton of tokens. Play Mutavault. Pump the tokens. Yes. Pass the turn. Opponent Gear Hulks down the Avenger. That actually sucks quite enormously. Because we can't race like this. Opponent Liliana's a plant into irrelevance. We untap. We draw. Craterhoof. Surprise. Yeah, into a mana leak. Let's just attack with, I don't know, a crap load of 10/10s. I technically should have animated Mutavault in response to the trigger. Watch my opponent cast Darkness. Just 1 black mana fog. Alright. Any last adjustments? I don't know if my opponent's playing Liliana of the Veil, but Baloth would be kind of funny if they were. Let's just run it back. You know, okay, question for those of you here on stream tonight. Do you guys like the later stream time more or the earlier stream time more? Kano's a 3-time world champion. He just went back in time because he wanted a more chill lifestyle. Not the... Well, I mean, like, earlier or later. I know you like longer streams. You like the early one better? I think I got a mulligan. This is not exactly a bad hand, but I don't think it does enough early. This one might actually work. I'm going to keep and put back Avenger of Zendikar. Oh, are you moving time zones? Normally I start about 15 minutes ago. We'll play a forest. Pass the turn. I'm in Hawaii. That's the only way to move. For some reason, I had it in my head you lived in Australia. I don't know why. I knew it was like to the west of the continental United States. I did not think it was Hawaii for some reason. For some reason, I was like, Phoenix lives in Australia or New Zealand. You probably told me, but that's what stuck in my mind. So Jawest likes earlier. Phoenix says he has no idea. Tarek likes the earlier, but this works fine too. I was about to say something, but I'd offend people on a personal level. Alright. Let's go ahead and play Rattleclaw Mystic. Pass the turn. Okay. After I'm done with this game, I'm going to have to let Porter OUT, and then I will play Battle of Wits until I have to go to my appointment. Okay, opponent plays a Narset, down ticks Narset, and finds a Compulsive Research. We untap, we draw birds. So slightly awkward here. I want to play Beast Whisperer, but to do that I have to not attack Narset. And Beast Whisperer is completely invalidated. Attack and then cast birds. That's fair. So we'll go to combat. We'll attack Rattleclaw, or we'll attack with Rattleclaw Mystic. He could Compulsive Research me? Oh man. That's a good point. So let's Fertile Footsteps. Get a forest. Play birds. Well, if he does Compulsive Research me as a Mind Rot, I'll still draw a card and then discard two. Opponent has a Languish. That kind of sucks. We draw Llanowar Elves, so play Beast Whisperer. Pass the turn. Opponent Ancestral Visions. Coming off Suspend. Yeah, no, that's why I went with the play that I did. Because I was like, I want Beast Whisperer on the field, but like... Okay, opponent Compulsive Researches themselves. Discarding an island. They play an island. Okay. Well, at risk of Snapcaster or a Disperse variant, we are going to attack Narset. Then we'll probably play Llanowar Elves. We can't play lands off of Genesis Hydra. It wasn't a Mind Rot. We still draw a card because it's on their turn and not ours. We get to draw one card a turn with Narset. So if they Compulsive Researched us, we would have drawn one and then discarded. So it's a little bit worse. We'll go to combat. Attack Narset. Kill Narset. Elf. Avacyn's Pilgrim. Opponent Mana Leaks. Okay. We draw Hedron Archive, which we can't play. Okay, pass the turn. That's true. Had it been like Spirit of the Labyrinth, which is the other effect. I can't fault you, Phoenix, because like you weren't there to play with those cards. And the only other effect like that that existed in Modern is Spirit of the Labyrinth. So, and Spirit of the Labyrinth is way more punishing. So I totally understand why you thought that. You did play Narset, you just forgot about it? That's fair. Wait a minute. Oh, they swift ended Beast Whisperer. I looked away to look at chat for a second. We draw Courser. We can't Primal Command. I think we just play Hedron Archives. Was that with Commit to Memory or Days Undoing? I don't remember which one. Was it It was Days, yes. I do remember that. That was fun. It's a pretty mean thing to do to an opponent. Opponent play... that's game. That's game. Karn with a Bitter Blossom to block. I guess I could Primal Command and make them shuffle it back in. And technically keep playing. I don't like this at all, though. Opponent gets a Fairy Rogue from Bitter Blossom. Casts Murderous Rider. Plays Luris. Attacks us for 1. I know, buddy, I know. We get hit for 1. We draw... We don't have any like good ways to answer a wide board, though. Play Mutavault. We'll try playing Courser. I'm going to concede this. I'm going to take the dog out because he really needs to go. I can tell because he farted and it smells like a low-temperature burning dumpster fire. So, we're going to play some Battle of Wits after this. Oops, hang on. Where is it? There it is. The only card I'm missing is 1 Luca. So I'm just going to take that out and we'll run 249. This is the list. I'll leave it up for people to look at if they want. And I'll be right back, and we're going to play some 2-mans with this when I get back. Apologies for the delay. I'm back now. So, let's play some Battle of Wits, huh? That is, if Moto can handle it. Ooh. Somebody posted a Simic land destruction list from Marin. I'll have to look at that, because she usually plays some fun jank decks. Alright, gotta change gears entirely. This looks like a playable hand. At least as far as Moto and Battle of Wits is concerned in Modern. Alright, we'll keep. Opponent starts Mishra's Bauble. So they're probably playing Death Shadow. Interesting though, it's not Luris Death Shadow, which means they're probably still running Street Wraiths. We get Inquisition, so they're probably going to take Timely here. They could take Serum Visions. They take Serum Visions, okay? They probably have a different... well, actually, Timely Reinforcements probably isn't going to do anything because we're not going to have a lower life total than our opponent until we're dead. So, play Raugrin Triome, pass the turn. Lightning Strike is a fine card versus our opponent. We just have to direct it at their creatures while their creatures are still small. They play Magmatic Channeler. We untap and draw Searing Spear, so we Flooded Strand, crack Flooded Strand, get an island, and Lightning Strike the Channeler. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Grim Flayer. It is now large enough to survive Lightning Strike effects, which is pretty bad. Play Marsh Flats. Crack Marsh Flats. We'll get... I think we get another Triome. And we'll just pass. I was thinking about casting Timely, and then I remembered that Grim Flayer has Trample. Opponent Inquisition. I don't think I want my opponent to lose more life, so I'll just let them take their pick here. We're playing Teferi next turn, 100%. We can Mystic Sanctuary something to the top of our deck if we'd like. It might be worth doing to pick up the Burn spell again, just to have a bunch of reach with Burn. Yeah, I saw that. I was pretty happy about that. Marin's a good content creator. There's lots of good jank that... Is it Maven now? Sorry, I haven't kept up with her content. Teferi gets one action on your turn and one on your opponent. He's pretty good. Okay. So play Mystic Sanctuary. Put Timely Reinforcements on top. Play Teferi. Loot. Pitch Fabled Passage. Pass the turn. we're going to down tick to Fairy to phase out Grimflayer for a turn. It prevents us from doing anything with Timely, but it prevents our opponent from sculpting their top deck. I like how they put phasing on this card just so they could update the phasing template. So that they could eventually reprint Oubliette in a way that didn't take up more text than the card had room for. Opponent bolts to Fairy. Then Thought Seizes us. I mean, at this point, they should take Spear, I think. No. No, they shouldn't. They should still take Timely. Well, like, it used to be very, very complicated. Like, absurdly so. And, like, tokens would cease to exist when they were phased. Like, entirely kind of a thing. But they changed how all of that works. Like, if you used to phase out a Batterskull, you would lose the Batterskull. Or if you phased out the Germ token a Batterskull was attached to, you would lose the Batterskull forever kind of a deal. But it's no longer that way. There was a bunch of really weird edge cases. I'm actually just going to shoot my opponent. We really need to draw Supreme Verdict. I think there's about 8 Wraths in this deck, whatever the proportion to a regular blue-white control deck running Wraths is. We untap. We draw Chain to the Rocks. So we will chain the Tarmogoyf. Play Glacial. Pass the turn. That does give us another turn. The only reason that this is Chained to the Rocks and not on Thin Ice is because this deck plays way more mountains than I think snow lands in general, simply because of all of the duels and tri-lands that it runs. I'm going to put all 3 cards back on top. And plays a Magmatic Channeler. We untap, draw land, and concede. So, versus the Death Shadow deck, bringing in Rest in Peace and Relic. And we're going to go down... I think Teferi, Master of Time, and Jace the Mind Sculptor, and oh, you know what? No, we're going down Remand before Teferi. Not Deprive, though. Remand is extra bad against our opponent's deck. And I'd cut 1 Searing Spear. Try it like this. I would love to play first. This hand, while technically keepable, is still pretty horrible, so I'm going to mulligan. It's a bit better. We're going to keep this. I'll put back a Fabled Passage. Okay, we'll start Bloodstained Mire. Pass the turn. I'm glad that Wizards of the Coast is willing to print like one-off crazy keyword mechanics on like planeswalkers and stuff like that, or mythic cards. I think that's something that they should do. Because like phasing being a regular mechanic in the set especially a core set where there's going to be a lot of new players playing and it's complex. I think is a bad idea. But occasionally on higher rarity cards, I think that's fine. We're going to play Prairie Stream here. This lets the rest of our mana come in untapped. It also allows us to leave up Path. Okay. If my opponent plays a Tarmogoyf, I'm going to wait until their upkeep to Path it. They Inquisition. Okay. They take Path. It's their only legal target. And they have a Nile Spellbomb. Okay. We don't really need the graveyard. I think they just brought it in because they saw Mystic Sanctuary. Play Glacial Fortress, and we'll leave up Archmage's Charm, which is an excellent card to have in this position, where my opponent has not yet resolved a threat. Alright, they shock Overgrown Tomb into a Thoughtseize. So, draw mode might be better, but I am going to counter this. They would have to have another Thoughtseize to get rid of Nahiri. And they do. Okay. Opponent goes to 11. And that lets them resolve Shadow. Brutal. The Quadra Hand-Hate Hand. Okay, play Fabled Passage. Crack it. We'll get an island. Thin in our deck. Thin in our 238 card deck. Technically does matter. Technically and only technically. Opponent plays a Magmatic Channeler. Attacks for 3, sure. We go to 16. We untap. We draw Chandra. We don't have double red. Play an island, pass the turn. Knew I should have got that mountain. That was actually a huge punt, I guess. I didn't think about how many double red cards we have. Chandra and Luca might actually be the only double red cards. Unless we have like a Volcanic Fallout variant of some kind. They hit us for 7. If we'd have been able to play Chandra last turn, we could have prevented 4 of that, and then prevented the other 3 by having them attack Chandra or bolt it at least. Okay, we untap, they draw an extra card, we draw Lightning Helix. Well, I don't think this is going to work, but I'm still going to try it anyway. Lightning Helix at sorcery speed. Because my opponent's not playing Luris, they might... Oh. they have Painland. What was I thinking? Alright. Alright. Another 2-man. Hopefully not against Shadow. The land wraths, the undo inversions. I've not actually. I probably should. This deck already has quite a bit of tap lands. I have the Seagate restorations and one Shatter Skull smashing, but yeah, undo inversion's probably a reasonable add. I need to iterate on this version of the list, because there's a few things about it I don't like and a few things that I do. Alright, we'll play first. We have Opt, Remand. Yeah, I'll keep. We also have a 0 mana Wrath, potentially, against an opponent who has mulligan to 5. Alright. Shock Hollow Fountain, pass the turn. Opponent starts Blackcleave Cliffs. Aether Vial. Well, we'll go ahead and opt. Snow-covered plains, I'm actually going to put on top. Oh shoot, I should have put that on the bottom because I want a third blue source. Like, land is still fine though. It's just, it would be better if it was a blue land. Play Scalding Tarn. Because my opponent played Aether Vial, I'm thinking this is goblins. So I'm going to fetch a Steam Vents untapped and play Search for Iskanta. It's quite painful, but this gives us 2 chances at drawing a blue source for an Archmage's Charm, which will let us take our opponent's Aether Vial. It's not very useful for us because we don't run any non-token creatures other than Emrakul, which I think is a mistake, but this list is doing the Nahiri Luca Emrakul thing that I saw some blue-white-red control lists doing in Modern, which is really powerful when it works. It's just not as likely, and I think probably running creatures is better. Alright, well, that is a conspicuous Snoop. Being very conspicuous. Search for Iskanta finds us Gideon. He's a card we could play this turn. I think I want land, though. Mystic Sanctuary, technically a blue land. I'm going to play it this turn so that we have it untapped next turn. We have a Remand, so hopefully our opponent can't just kill us. I forgot that Conspicuous Snoop enabled infinite combo in this deck. Oh. Well. They can make infinite Kiki, or infinite Conspicuous Snoop copies. My opponent fetched away Kiki. Looks like they're playing Palashik Mont. They're playing Goblin Matron. I am going to remand this. We draw Steam Vents. Opponent's vialing in a 2-drop. Mog War Marshal. No attacks. We untap, search for Iskanta. I'll mill that swamp because we don't need it. Draw Polluted Delta. Place steam vents tapped. And I'm going to take this Aether Vial right now. Hopefully we don't die in some horrific way. Okay, pass the turn. Okay, plays a Goblin Matron. They put a Boggart Harbinger in their hand. We take one. Well, if we draw another white card, I might just Sun Scour. Pitching Teferi and whatever white card we draw. Alright. Search for Iskanta finds Ralgren Triome, Millet, Transform. We draw Mana Leak. Play Polluted Delta. Activate Iskanta. No, I don't play Teferian Plus. I try and draw another white card here, so we have the whole pitch 3 cards to blow up the board. I think that's like the only way we stand an actual chance, and it's not great. It's not a great play. I'm just kind of lucky that, because if that was Supreme Verdict, I wouldn't have had to pitch my whole hand. The only reason that we have a Singleton Sunscour in this deck is because occasionally, when your Dredge opponent plays a billion cards on turn 1, you can do the whole, haha, I exile my whole hand and you lose all of your cards. But, okay, opponent plays Palashik Mons, so we're going to fetch up Mystic Sanctuary. Opponent called me a bitch. Jerk. Let's get a Mystic Sanctuary and make him sad. We'll put Archmage's Charm on top of our deck. And Mana Leak Palashik Mons. We know our opponent is holding Boggart Harbinger. But now we have one of the best counter spells in the game. Okay, opponent cracks Fiery Islet to draw a card. And if our opponent doesn't cast anything into it, we can activate Iskanta as well. Actually, we have the mana to do both. Ticking that Aether Vial up to 15, baby. Gonna take a while. Draw Archmage's Charm, play a Plains, pass the turn. Opponent Thought Seizes us. You know what? I'm gonna draw some cards. Okay, they can take Lightning Strike. It got us a Polluted Delta, though. Then we can activate Search for Iskanta. Opponent not going to play anything. Gonna get Deliberate. Rest of the bottom, any order. Untap. Aether Vial ticking up. Draw Lightning Bolt. Play Polluted Delta. Pass the turn. If my opponent plays something we care about, we can always put Mana Leak or Archmage's Charm or Remand on top, then draw it. We have several bolts. I think versus Goblins, even the Conspicuous Snoop edition, we're just fine. Okay, opponent plays Boggart Harbinger. They can put a Goblin card on top of their deck. Mog War Marshal. Okay. So my opponent's end step will Lightning Bolt. Deliberate. Not going to need Dovin's Veto. Probably don't want Colonnade. We want one of our other bigger win conditions. Gideon might work. Activate, search for Iskanta. Ooh, take Wrath of God. Rest to the bottom. And finally, let's Polluted Delta for Mystic Sanctuary, putting Archmage's Charm on top. Untap. Aether Vial ticking up. Draw Archmage's Charm. Play Gideon. Opponent concedes. Okay. No changes for the aggressive deck. We'll just run it back. We have a Triome and an untapped land of any color we want. And then a lot of Planeswalkers. I'm going to try this. I don't know if it will actually work, especially if my opponent has hand hate. I don't know if anybody saw that, but he was acting real silly. He was trying to make his bed more comfortable. He was digging in it, and as soon as I put the camera on him, he's like, oh, fuck this. And now he's on the other side of the basement, over on the blanket. You doing okay, buddy? Yeah? Okay. Oh, what a nut job. Opponent gets the Thoughtseize. He is. He's such a cute boy. He's got such an expressive face, and I love him so much. Opponent takes Lightning Strike. That's what I would have done. We untap. We draw. Force of Negation. So play the Triome, pass the turn. If my opponent plays something that Force of Negation counters, I'm probably going to pitch Master of Time to counter it. Like if they were to play an Aether Vial, as an example. Opponent plays a Snow-Covered Mountain into a Conspicuous Snoop. Okay. Revealing an Auntie's Hovel. We untap. We draw a Fabled Passage. Play Prismatic Vista. Pass the turn. Prismatic Vista, if my opponent has the Harbinger and is just going to go for the turn 3, then we have to Thought Scour. Actually, we could Thought Scour our opponent in that sense. Yep, if they're going to go for the turn 3, that'll be quite hilarious. Okay, go ahead and put whatever you want on top of your deck. In response to the first activation, I'll just mill it. Crack Prismatic Vista. Get an island. Thought Scour our opponent. Hey, we got a Serum Visions. Yeah, I think they usually only run one, though. They still get a 2/2 with haste, so they can still attack for 2, but like... Wow. He's still salty. Like... Joest, I hope you're enjoying this. Because we're wailing on this guy. Type Goblins go burr. I'll type Battlewits go burr. Alright, opponent hits us for 2. Sure. Okay, we untap. We draw. Shatter Skull Smashing. So play Fabled Passage. Crack Fabled Passage. We're going to get a Mountain tapped. Then we'll cast Serum Visions. Windswept Heath is good. Cryptic's also great. Bloodstained Mire to the bottom, Cryptic to the top. Cryptic can buy us some time. We might actually use Shatter Skull Smashing to kill our opponent's creatures. I'm going to plays Cavern because they drew it. They play Palashik Mons off the top. Okay. They go to combat. Attack for 4. We'll take 4. Untap. We draw Cryptic. So play Windswept Heath. We can either play Nahiri and downtick to exile the Snoop. We could start looting with Teferi, Master of Time. We could just play Gideon and like Fog Palashik Mons, but then Gideon just dies to the damage on board. I kind of like fogging Palashik Mons. Okay. Fetch. We get a Modern Legal Tundra in the form of Prairie Stream, which feels pretty grand, might I add. Then I'm going to do the Nahiri play, just because I've got a feeling that there's going to be some horrible nastiness they can sneak in if I don't. Exile Conspicuous Snoop. Pass the turn. So we know they're holding a Mog War Marshal, because that was what was on top of their deck. If their other card in hand is a Thoughtseize, we're almost guaranteed to win. If they Thoughtseize, I am going to force it. So they play the Mog. They're claiming whatever they were trying doesn't work. They attack Nahiri and attack us. Sure. Would like to draw another untapped land. That way we can actually just front half Shatter Skull Smashing, kill the Harbinger and Palashik Mons. We take some damage from doing so, but it leaves my opponent with just like a couple of 1/1s. Okay, Nahiri down. We untap and draw Windswept Heath. So play Windswept Heath. Fetch, we'll get another Prairie Stream. Red, blue, white, white, red. Cast Shatter Skull Smashing. Okay. Kill 2 of my opponent's creatures. We take 2 damage. We go to 7. Opponent's turn. I assume they pay the echo cost here. They do not. Alright. This could be a Goblin Ringleader. Ah, Goblin War Chief. That is a bit of a problem. This means we're taking a lot of damage. They're going to unearth War Marshal, which I think might actually just kill us. Oh, I should have forced the unearth. For some reason I was like, I can't. That's 6 damage. Okay. My bad. I could have saved myself some life that way. Take 6, go to 1. Alright. I guess Cryptic can technically buy me another turn. I would need to draw... what's it called? Timely reinforcements, though. Okay, opponent sacks Mog War Marshal. They don't want the Wrath protection. They draw. So go to combat. Let's go ahead and tap their guys and draw a card. I should be at 3 and my opponent should have less threats than they do. We draw another Teferi, Master of Time. Opponent plays a Goblin Matron that can't be countered. Gideon 0 and removal. Maybe. If I top deck Terminus, which this deck has a singleton, it will be Justice. I think my opponent has a way to kill us, though. Alright, they Tar Fire. So, Force of Negation. Opponent says, so, luck. Yes. Alright, Wrath, please. It's a mountain. Alright. Has you dead on board and is salty about a counterspell. I know, right? Gotta make this fast. I have to go in like 10 minutes. So. I found that a lot of people in two-man queues and leagues on Moto have gotten a lot meaner. Like, the majority of people don't say anything, and there are a few people who say nice things, ask me about my deck, ask if I'm the streamer that, has the same name, stuff like that. And some people have cool conversations when you're playing limited. Most of the time when I get a message, it's crap like this. People just like say mean crap. It's a little disheartening. It's nice though because I don't have to deal with it in person. And if I get salty and I'm streaming, the other person doesn't have to deal with it because odds are they're not watching my stream. And if they are, they're cheating. So all right. I would love to play first. We have Supreme Verdict. We have Architect of Thought, which is also very good against our opponent's deck because it shrinks all the 1/1s into 0/0s, or into 0/1s, I mean. Start Polluted Delta, pass the turn. Opponent starts. Blackcleave Cliffs, Thoughtseize. Sure. Yeah, how's that treating you? Opponent takes the Wrath. I think I'm just going to get a basic island here. I'm going to go ahead and Thought Scour us. Actually, I should have saved Thought Scour for the potential shenanigans that my opponent's pulling. In general, we want to Thought Scour ourselves. In this particular matchup, we might want to save Thought Scour because of the Vampiric Tutor effect we want to counter. We draw a Valakut Awakening, which I'm fine playing as a tap land here. Pass the turn. Oops. Okay. Opponent plays a Bloodstained Mire and cracks it for a mountain. Into a Mog War Marshal. Well, let's opt. Cryptic might be a little slow. It is pretty good, though. Yeah, I'll keep a Cryptic. Okay. War Marshal enters, makes tokens. We untap. We draw Misty. Play Misty. Pass the turn. This leaves it available so that I can fetch Raugrin Triome if my opponent doesn't play a non-creature spell, and I can fetch a basic island to Force of Negation them. If I do, opponent does not pay for the Mogg War Marshal, indicating they have something they're going to play. Misty what? Opponent plays a Goblin War Chief. Okay. Opponent attacks for 4. I can't take the Summoning Sick token. I don't know what you mean. I don't have Archmage's Charm. Okay. We're going to go ahead and fetch up the Triome. No worries, man. Untap. Draw Dovin's Veto. Play Polluted Delta. Crack Polluted Delta. We'll get a basic island. Play Jace. Because this is the only time this is going to work. Okay. Uptick Jace. So as long as they don't have a Goblin King or another 1/1 Goblin Lord, we've shrunk all of their tokens to the point of irrelevance, and this Goblin War Chief can only swing in for 1 damage. We have Force of Negation if they were to try and bolt Jace down. I would also probably Force of Negation an Aether Vial. I'm going to plays a Goblin Matron. I think they can play a Goblin Lord here, which is a big problem. And Cryptic's only going to buy us 1 more turn, so we do need to draw another. We need to draw Wrath. Opponent picks up a Palashik Mons. They can't play him this turn, though. Oh, no, they can. Never mind. He'll have haste, so they can attack for a total of 2 damage. Okay. Jace goes to 3. Alright, deck. Show me Wrath. Another Dovin's Veto is not really what I asked for. Uptick Jace. Play Bloodstained Mire. Pass the turn. Unfortunately for me, Bloodstained Mire cannot get Mystic Sanctuary to put Supreme Verdict back on top. I'm going to have to leave probably before I can finish this match, which really sucks. Opponent Thought Seizes. So let's go ahead and force. This way we can leave up Cryptic. Opponent plays an Aether Vial. I'm going to counter and draw. My opponent's last card could technically be worse, but Mind Sculptor is not great. Fetch with Bloodstained Mire. Get another Triome. F6. Opponent swings at Jace. Okay, no blocks. Oh, they had a Tarfire. Okay, so that was technically a mistake. Yeah, if I had been played and not if I was actually playing this and not pressed for time, I would have won this, I'm pretty sure. That and if Moto wasn't lagging and forcing me to play really slowly. So, Brainstorm. Yeah. Alright. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thank you to Tarek101 and Rabidworm for following. You're both wonderful people. And I really appreciate the support. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.